Pendle. Is everyone excited? Thank you very much. We've got a hell of a show for you this evening. We have got, yeah, it does work. We have got stand-up comedy, we've got improv comedy. We've also got some audience participation. Isn't that right, sir? Yeah. There we are. It's also a Thursday. Yay! Subtly moving the chairs back there. I do like a Thursday. Thursday for me is like the difference, but it was the gap between 9/11 and the Iraq War. That's like Thursday for me. That's Thursday. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like the week's perineum. You know, it's the gap between your balls and your arsehole. That's what Thursday is. I love a Thursday because the thing with Thursday is like, you know, you've got, especially in uni, right? You have your Wednesday, you go Wednesday night, it's sugar, like that. Then you have a Friday night, and it's sugar again. And then Thursday is like the strepsil that bridges the gap. That's why I quite like. Was anyone in sugar last night? Give us a cheer if you were. That was a pensive. Is anyone planning on going tomorrow? A bit louder, a bit chirpier. Is there anyone here who's done both? Is anyone doing both? Oh, that's fair play. Okay, right. We've got a very moderate crowd in this evening. That's very good. I was in Sugar actually last week on Wednesday, so I'm a bit of a Philistine, bit of a character like that, you know, going to Sugar on a Wednesday. And something interesting happened to me, and it's a weird thing to happen. There's some music coming out. Anyways, I was in Sugar. Something weird happened to me. And I'll be honest, right, this is what happened. I got groped. And it's a weird thing to happen, getting groped. And I was actually, the thing is, it was an odd thing to happen. And obviously, I say groped, it was more of an attempted break-in. Because I swear to God, it was like someone was trying to shake a coconut out of a tree. It was just like that. It was a real, like, proper effort put into it. I was like, Jesus, okay, what's going on? Rippling up my back, and I was impressed. Because, I don't know if you can tell, right? Not a lot of action back there, right? It's like a cleft palate, you know? It's like someone's dropped a clay model onto the floor, you know, and it's wet, it's bang, it took the shape of the floor. That's what it is back there. So I was impressed. They must have had very small hands, you know, just to like get so much movement. But it was quite weird, and I thought, you know, it happened, and I was a bit like, what the fuck? I was a bit pissed off about that. So I thought, you know, God's word, eye for an eye. So I turned round, and it was a woman. I was like, whoa, right, okay, I don't know what to do there. This is a bit odd, you know, because I wasn't gonna start a fight. The worst thing you could do in the nightclub is start a fight. I know a bloke back home. He started a fight in the nightclub, and basically him and this bloke had an argument, and then he went to swing for a punch. The bloke dodged it, and this fella just continued going and proceeded to break his ex-girlfriend's nose. That genuinely happened. So I was there. I was like, well, what do I do? You know, because if it was it was just a bit of an odd situation to be in. And then she started walking away. So I thought, well, I've got to confront her about it. I can't just let this slide. So I kind of tapped her on the shoulder, and she did the weirdest thing. She just turned to me and just went, no, like that, as if I was some angel of death coming for an 80-year-old. She was like, no, I don't want it, no. She just disappeared. So it was very odd. It was a very odd experience for me. So if anyone here does have a vague memory of rattling what felt like a pair of knees last Wednesday, give me a ring. So anyways, that's enough from me. We will go on to our first improv act of the evening. Is everyone looking forward to it? Woo! Very good. Right, our first improv game is called Should Have Said, and is going to involve Jon Lee and George. So welcome them on stage. So this game is called Should Have Said. How Should Have Said works is these guys are going to be performing a scene that will be ascribed by you, the audience, and then throughout the scene I can just go should have said, and when I say should have said, it means that they have to change what they just said. So for example, do those rules make sense, George?
Absolutely.
Should have said.
I haven't got a fucking clue.
There we are. That's how it works. So, for this scene, we are going to require a location. So, can someone from the audience please offer, just shout it out.
Charles Carter.
Charles Carter! Hey! Right, okay. We'll go with Charles Carter. Right. Are we happy with Charles Carter? Right, take it away.
Open up! No!
Should have said.
Do I have to?
Should have said.
I've blocked the toilet. It's a fucking huge shit and I don't want you to see it.
You'd better open that door right now, or things are gonna get ugly around here.
Should have said.
Or things are gonna get pretty around here.
Should have said.
Or things are gonna get sexy around here.
You can be as sexy as you like, I don't like meat because we're all vegan.
I'm a stripper cop. Oh yeah.
Should have said.
I'm a very, very private nun cop.
James in here actually loves nuns. His girlfriend's a nun.
Should have said.
His mum's a nun and he's got a weird thing for her.
Gosh. Yeah. And is his mother okay with the protests?
Well, she's actually gagged and tied up in the seminar room.
Should have said.
She's actually swinging from the balcony with a big banner around her titty saying, "Stop BAE."
Well, I'm gonna get her down, and you can't stop me. Ugh. I'll break this door down.
Should have said.
I'll open the door, I'll lockpick it.
Should have said.
I will eat it. I will gnaw it until it's nothing.
But you're not enjoying the ABBA music they're playing outside. It's really nice out there.
It is a bar.
So that's why I put it, so you might come round and join our side.
Should have said.
We thought you'd start dancing and the uni would just give in to our demands, because that's what's going to happen, isn't it?
And scene! Fantastic stuff. Now we are going on to our next improv game of the evening, and it is called Let's Make a Date. And it is going to involve Jon, Felicity, Stefan and George. No? Oh, yeah. Whoever's meant to be up here, get up here. Give them a round of applause, everyone. Right, so this is Let's Make a Date. How Let's Make a Date works is this, it's a romance show. George over there is looking for love. And he has three wonderful contestants here who will be vying for his passion. They are going to be someone who has a weird job, someone who has a strange relationship to him, someone who has a weird job, someone from history or fiction with a twist. You are going to assign these people those categories, and it will be up to George to guess what those stuff are. But for George to guess, we are going to have to ask him to leave the room. So give him a round of applause. So we're going to kick this off by ascribing Stefan here a weird relationship that he has to George. So can I just throw it out?
His birthday clown.
Birthday clown. That's a good one. Anything else?
Stepsister.
Stepsister. That's a good one. Anything else? Right, we'll go with that. I think birthday clown. Are we happy with birthday clown?
More than happy with birthday.
More than happy with birthday clown. We now have Felicity here. She has a weird job or occupation. So what is that weird job or occupation?
Porn director.
Porn director. Any advances on porn director? I don't think there is. Do you want to do porn?
Why not?
Let's do porn director. And now we have Jon here. He is a character from history or fiction with a twist. So, does anyone have a character from history or fiction?
Gay Hitler.
Gay Hitler. Right. That's certainly a twist. Any advances on Gay Hitler?
Spider-Man with Fred Spider-Man.
Say that again, sorry.
Spider-Man was from the North.
Northern Spider-Man.
Gay Stalin.
Gay Stalin. Yeah, you want to get off with Gay Hitler.
Gay Hitler works.
Gay Hitler works. Alright. So let's just rattle through these categories before we kick this off. So Stefan, what are you?
I'm his birthday clown.
And Felicity, what are you?
I direct porn.
And Jon, who are you?
Oh yeah.
I think he gets it. Right, and now we're going to have to call George back into the room, so we're all going to work together as a team. We're going to all get together, and we're all going to shout, after three, George, come back in. So, 1, 2, 3, George, come back in! Here he comes. Da, da, da. There he is. Here he comes, everyone. Here he comes. Big round of applause, he walks through the door. Hi, John. How's it going?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, you're good. You're looking for love this evening, John?
Oh, definitely a little bit more.
Oh, and a little bit more. Well, we've got some 3 spicy people here to see with you this evening, so I'll just go down to them. Do you have a question for them?
Yeah, if you had to do a protest, where would you do it?
Oh, if there was a protest, where would you do it? So, contestant number 1.
Oh, I would do it in your mummy's kitchen. Because she told me, right? She told me I wasn't allowed to take your cat and put a red nose on it. What a rude cow.
Well, sorry about that, George. Felicity, where would you start a protest?
I think I'd have to make it an internet protest.
Yeah.
I think the area that I work in, it's an increasingly digital issue. I think we also might need to do something that sort of targets teenage boys. So maybe remove Xboxes for a while, just something that will really hit the market.
That's very interesting. And contestant number 3, where would you start a protest?
I would do it in Bristol. Because the nightclub scene there is very good, and I always wanted to conquer that island.
There we are. Have we got any inkling as to who these people might be?
No.
Not yet. Rightio. Well, we are now going on to our second question.
Where would you take me on holiday?
Where would you take George on holiday? So, contestant number 1, where would you take him on holiday?
Anywhere where there's a bowling alley and a soft play area. And maybe an Applebee's.
Yes, thank you very much. And contestant number 2.
Well, a lot of my clients are Russian. A lot of people I work with are from Russia. And I'm also a massive fan of places of outstanding beauty. Very keen photographer, so, you know, somewhere that combines a bit of that, you know?
Sounds very interesting. And contestant number 3.
Well, I wouldn't take you skiing, because my troops don't like the cold, it doesn't work for them. So, the south of France, it may be my puppet state, but still.
There we are. Right, and we are now going to the last question, so George, make it count.
If you had to cook me a romantic tea, what would you dish up?
Ooh, if you had to cook a romantic tea, what would you dish up? Contestant number 1.
I would go more for the presentation, actually, right? I'd bring you in. I'd have to do knock on your bedroom door, ask you who's there, and then you'd let me in. I'd tell you a very good pun, and you'd let me in. Also, I liked you when I did your birthday party.
There we are. There we are. So, if you did have to cook a meal, what would the meal be?
Sausage and mash.
There you are, bang as a mash. Alright, contestant number 2.
Well, it'd have to be something very light, so it wouldn't, you know, interrupt afterwards. But I'm not so much of a fan of cookeries ordering takeaways. I think if you ordered a pizza, something like that.
What kind of pizza?
Well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. Leave that to interpretation. And contestant number 3, what would you rustle up, George?
I have to cook you ein Bratwurst. And it wouldn't be the only sausage you'd be getting.
Outstanding stuff. And that brings us to the end of the Q&A session. George, have you got an inkling as to who these people might be?
No.
Right. So, number 1, Stefan over there is a person who has a weird relationship. So, what is that relationship to you?
I'm getting some sort of hints at a clown that maybe did my birthday party.
Yes, it is! We will now go on to contestant number 2. What are we thinking?
There was a reference to teenage boys, and I thought it was going to look like an Andrew Tate alley. But I don't think it is. I'm what? American?
Is the pizza honest? Well, yes, arguably, but it's, you know, there's a lot of genres that she could have dipped into, you know.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Yeah. So think about Andrew Tate, but like, you know, imagine the opposite.
Greta.
You're going away from it. Bring it back to Andrew
I like to
Tate.
consider myself an artist, you know what I mean?
Artist.
And it's, you know, really important works of art, they've just got a certain audience.
Yeah, a certain very special audience, you know?
It's not something you watch all the time, only sort
No.
of, you know, special.
Yeah, just in case you know.
Okay, bit of a long time, lock the bathroom door. The old, something to do with the hub.
Yeah.
A porn star.
Well, not quite the porn star, but...
Oh, you're
Got a bit more agency.
a porn recorder. The old.
Yeah, that'll do. It's a fucking right, contestant number 3, what are we thinking?
Hitler. Yes. But he's a bit of a minx. I don't know.
Bloody close.
Close. Hitler, but.
Would you like to tell us something else?
Eva Brown is very disappointed at my new choice of lifestyle.
Eva Brown.
It's his ex-wife.
Oh, Hitler, but he's homosexual.
Yes, it is! There we are. Tie this game off in a bow. George, which of these fine contestants will you be taking home with you this evening?
We'll have a breakfast, so it's going to have to be gay Hitler.
Absolutely. There's a winner. Give a round of applause. We are now going on to our first stand-up act of the evening. You're gonna love her. She's an absolute powerhouse. It is. Give it a round of applause. The Electric Moir.
Hope you're all having a good time. Thank you very much for having us. As you can tell, I am Pendle's biggest fan. So just a little bit about Pendle Brew that I'm not actually happy about. I love the food here, but they did a drinks menu. Aware of the drinks menu, it's worth taking a look at because there's a smoothie called the Big Five that has 4 ingredients. It's not the worst example of false advertising I've seen to do with drinks. Actually, the other week I went to a bottomless brunch. It just went everywhere. I'm particularly sensitive to like false advertising and stuff because I'm actually a marketing student. It's pretty depressing to be a marketing student. Are any other marketing people in? The others are at therapy. It's a depressing subject to study because all you're really doing is learning how to compare 2 different products, bring one down and raise one up. And as we know, comparison is the thief of joy. You know, that's why so many meerkats have depression. But it's a rough time in the business world, sort of more generally. Loads of businesses haven't really bounced back since COVID. My local Pizza Express folded. It's now a Calzone Express. It's going to go on for ages. Okay, it's travelling. But yeah, businesses are kind of struggling. It's just a rough time generally, and I'm not going to lie, I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. So the other day, Cosy Lives kind of got to me. I went out for a coffee, and the coffee shop had just turned all the lights off to save money. So to get some light in the building, the staff had to set fire to loads of Christians because it was a Cafe Nero. But you know, it's difficult as well because there's all of these strikes. You know, everybody's striking. I can't walk down the street without going, ooh. That's a bit of a niche one there. But the reason that everybody's striking is basically just corporate greed and selfishness. I think the world is way too selfish a place. The other day I asked my friend what he would have as his meal, his last meal if he was a prisoner on death row, and he said, oh, I'd have my mum's lasagna. What's she gonna have then? Fucking selfish people all the time. I don't understand it. Like, you've got people starving and then there's millionaires, billionaires. What's next for caramel shortbread? It does stress me out, and I've completely forgotten what I was going to say as well. Thanks for putting up with me, lads. What the fuck does that say? Sorry, I can't even read my own handwriting. It's difficult to be a young person juggling money stuff at the minute, isn't it? I think it's important to be aware of all of the discounts and loyalty schemes you can get your hands on. I was in the supermarket the other day and I saw a group of geniuses collecting loyalty points. It was Sparks and Mensa. If you don't get that, it's because you're not in Mensa. You're stupid. Sorry, a bit rude. And I've forgotten again. She's not just going to hold this. Sorry, lads. It's not what I wanted to be doing. Anyway, so I thought I'd share some money-saving tips. I'm a bit of a Martin Lewis fan. Have we got any music fans in tonight? Woo! Woo! Yeah, sounds depressing. If you are a music fan and you really, really want to see the Beatles, but you don't have the money, lift up a log. If you're more of like an arty type and you want to get a portrait of yourself commissioned but you can't afford it, you can always go to court. And a personal one for me, as very much like a technophobe, I would recommend that you always make sure you've got good warranty on stuff. Because the other day I put a Blu-ray disc into my DVD player and it said, disc not read. I was like, yeah, it's blue! So fucking irritating. But it's also difficult because part of my degree is to have a placement year involved in it, so I'm looking for a job at the minute, which is kind of difficult because nowhere really seems to be hiring. I did actually see a classified ad for a role at MI5. And I eventually got through to the interview stage and I met with a woman called Mia, M-I-A. I haven't seen her since. But I eventually declined the role because I would have had to have like this big health check done, because obviously you need to be like at the top of your fitness and stuff. And I'm quite iffy about hospitals because my grandma sadly passed away in hospital. I was actually with her before she died, and the last thing that she ever did was she gave me a machine that weaves together nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide. It was a family heirloom. And after she passed away, I was actually sat by her bed and I was praying, and a priest came up to me on roller skates. He was from the Charlie Chaplin scene. But we actually managed to have a really good conversation because around that time I've been struggling a bit and I'd actually started reading the Bible, Deuteronomy. So thanks Deuteronomy, we were actually able to have a really deep spiritual connection, and that priest had been working at the hospital for a really long time and he'd seen a load of like celebrities go in as well, and he told me this cool fact, right, that Dolly Parton wrote Islands in the Stream after she had kidney stones. But I'm very much a big fan of the NHS, all of that kind of shit, because I'm basically a great person. And don't disagree with me then, please. But I think particularly it's difficult, like the ambulances have been on strike and stuff, and you know, they have to, all this stuff about like response times, they need to cut them down, and it's too much pressure on them. So I thought, what can I as a normal person do about it? And I heard about this app called What 3 Words. Has anybody heard of What 3 Words? Do we know what it is? Yeah, most people do. If you don't know what it is they've basically taken the map of the world, divided it into meters squared of land, and then given each square a 3-word code. So it can be easily identified, so when you ring for an ambulance or something, you can tell them exactly where you are and they can get to you much quicker. And it's really good, it's great, but it has made me quite paranoid because, you know, if something bad does happen, you know, I'm bleeding out, I have to pick up the phone and make that call. What if my last words are, please send help, I'm a poo-willy bum? Like, you just never know what might happen. But the final thing that I'll say to you is just another thing about how fantastic I am, is that knowing that prevention is the cure, and as a way of helping the NHS, I decided that I would raise money for different health charities. And actually this morning I signed up for the Race for Life, and it went so well, I got white. And on that racially charged note, I'll leave you there. Thank you very much for listening and enjoy the rest of the show.
Now we are going into the last game of the first half. But don't worry, you've got another second half wait. So the last improv game of the first half is a game called Three-Headed Expert, and it is going to involve Jon, Tom and Felicity. So welcome them on stage! There we are. So this is Three-Headed Expert. As you can see, we have one three-headed expert on stage. They are an expert in absolutely everything under the sun. However, so what's going to happen is I'm going to ask you, you can ask any question to this genius and they will give you an answer. So just for an example, I'll ask, so what's your name?
My
name is
Stuart.
Stuart, there we are, we have Stuart with us today. So has anybody got a burning question that Stuart can answer? He can answer anything under the sun. Any question? Just shout it out. It could be something stupid. Does nobody have any questions?
Did Bush do 9/11?
Yeah, thank you. That's the question we need. Did Bush do 9/11?
Depending
On how
you
phrase the
question,
he did
sort of,
do it.
Okay, well he sort of did it. But how did he do it?
physics,
Dictates that
laws,
of motion,
sensor,
planes, and
falling.
There we are. So that's how it works. It was a pure act of physics that George Bush did 9/11. So, thank you very much, Stuart. We got any other questions?
Was the moon landing fake?
Was the moon landing fake? Was the moon landing faked?
Neil,
was a
cunt.
That wasn't a question.
and he
Really,
faked the
photography,
of the
black.
death because
He,
was a
narcissist.
Yeah. So he. So yeah, was it fake? Yes or no?
Yes.
There we are. Thank you. But it's a good answer. We get you get insight with this expert. That's what's great about Stuart. So, have we got another question? Just shout it out.
How do I turn on my computer?
How do we turn on my computer?
As in sexually.
Alright, well, we're in for an education. How do you sexually turn on your computer?
Bigamy,
and don't
forget,
to touch
up,
the power.
socket.
Yeah, you got to touch up the power socket. So there's your question. I saw a hand up over in the back there. No, oh, that was a rapid no. No, I don't ask it. The question's already been asked. It was that one there. Right, we can have one more question.
The meaning of life.
The meaning of life. There we are. That's always one that we want to know. What is the meaning of life, Stuart?
42,
Frogs can
count,
to 7
more so over,
they are
usually,
dead.
There we are. Thank you very much, Stuart. That is the meaning of life. Dead frogs and something else. So, with that, that is all Stuart has for this evening, unfortunately. So we are just going to have some closing thoughts from you, Stuart. So, anything to say?
remember,
To always
check,
your phone,
for,
kneel.
Keep an eye for Neil. That was Stuart, everyone. Give him a round of applause. Alright. And so concludes our first half. However, we do have a second half which will be starting again in approximately 15 to 20 minutes. So you have time to have a poo, have a pee, have another drink. But during the interval, and some of you who've been here before will know, we have a big cup of plain paper just on this table here. You can write, and there's pens as well, and you can write anything on there. It can be a sentence, it can be a word, it can be an entire transcription of the Bible, it can be anything. And you can write them on a piece of paper, put it in the empty cup, well they won't be empty for long, but put it in the other cup, and then in an improv game in the second half, we will be using them in a scene and we'll be using your stuff in a scene. So, there we are, that's happening. So, paper's over there, toilets are there, there. We'll see you in 15, 20 minutes. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage for the second half, your host, Iestyn.
I'm back. How's it going, everyone? Hope everyone had a good break. I hope everyone had a good pee, had a good poo. Hope everyone had another drink. I will apologise for opening with a story about getting groped. That was a bit out of the line for me. I've got a story about getting kicked out of Sugarhouse, if anyone wants to hear that. Yeah, I've got some. Has anyone here, just out of interest, has anyone here been kicked out of Sugar before? Can I get like a... Whoa, there was a whoop over there. I heard a whoop over there. Who got kicked out of Sugar over there? Who was it? Oh, no. are you willing to share with us why you got kicked out of Sugar? You don't have to if you don't want to. Wait, hang on. Right, you started that sentence with the most recent one. At Bongo's Bingo. How'd you get kicked out of Bingo? No. Oh no. Well, okay, that's worse than the reason I got kicked out, but that, you know, that's no offence to you, that's fine. No, I got kicked out of Sugar because it happened last year, and what happened was, I was in the toilet, and then I walked out the toilet, and then I thought, I will preface this, I was sozzled. I wasn't well. It was the good thing that I got kicked out of there. But I was in the toilet, and then I walked out the toilet, and I thought, oh, I've got a piece of phlegm in my mouth. And then I spat it on the floor. And instantly, there was just security guard, hand on the shoulder, just guiding me out. And I think it was a hate crime, because I'm from Wales, I'm Welsh, you know? So the Welsh language is just, you know, I've got to get rid of it somehow, you know, I live in, it comes with the spit. So, you know, I put the complaint in, but they never got back to me. But I got kicked out. And it was bad because he just guided me out and just went, right, stay there. And I never saw him again. And I was out there and I thought, right, I've got to get home because it was quite bad. So, walked up Sugarhouse Alley, blacked out. When I came back to, I was hobbling towards a taxi. And the taxi driver must have seen me and thought, shit a brick, it's the Walking Dead. Because I was walking like a shot deer. I was like that, I was going like that. I was like Bambi's mum at the final second. And I went there, I was leaning up against it, take me back to campus. Well, I was desperate, I was on my own, it was really bad, and he felt sorry for me, so I okay, get in the back. So I got in, and it was going smoothly until we passed, you know those houses that's still a building site down the bottom? You know what I mean? The new builds down the bottom next to the train station. Anyway, we were passing there and I was in the back of the car and I thought, I feel sick. So I kind of rolled the window down. I was about waist deep in the car. The top half of me was just out of it. And I just made a new lane. So I just, new lane, just put it down. And I just remember thinking, afterwards, like imagine having just come back from a late night gym session, right? And you're walking out the sports hall with your bag, and you see the two headlights coming up the road, and in it is me, hanging out by the waist, Doppler effect in motion, just disappear off the street. And to this day, I lose sleep at night because of it. It's really bad. But anyways, that's my story. So enough about that, we'll go into the second half. Now, thank you very much everyone for giving your little scribbles. We are now going to implement them in the game because this game is called Whose Line? And the first game is going to involve, I believe, Tom and Felicity. So welcome them on stage, please. Alright, they're just going to pick up a bit of content from the cup. Alright, so how Whose Lines works is you guys are going to give these improvisers a prompt, and they are going to act out a scene, and during the scene they will be on occasion using your lines, so you might get a shout out if you're lucky. So it's just going to be a simple scene, so can I please have a crisis for these guys to be trying to solve during the scene?
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead. That's a big crisis. We could do that, do you know? Walking Dead? Like a zombie apocalypse. Zombie apocalypse. Alright, there's a zombie apocalypse. Take it away.
Tom, the zombies are arriving!
Calm down, okay, calm down.
Calm down? Zombies!
Oh jeez, oh yeah, you're right.
Oh, God, I knew this would happen.
We bored ourselves in.
Right.
So they can't get in. And then we just live here forever.
It's a terrible strategy. My strategy is women's rights. We had been in charge the whole time.
I think we can leave them alone for a bit because the zombies don't care. The zombies don't discriminate.
Zombies don't see gender. Right.
Yeah, they just see brains. And we've got two.
Well, if the women are in charge, then more brains working. Right. Second, way around this. Orphans on Mother's Day. Oh, well, that's a sad song.
If we bring some orphans in front of the zombies on Mother's Day, they'll cry so much they'll go home.
I was thinking that's going to make us feel better about zombie invasion. I would have heard that. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking we could do a Charles Carter.
Board ourselves in.
That's what I said at the start. Yeah, they can't get.
I'm not against that. What would that sound say on them?
How about? Don't hug me, I'm scared.
That's beautiful, but I'm not sure they get, I don't think they...
Yeah, they kind of want us to be scared.
Yeah,
so that's sort of just something that we...
I'm thinking the offices of Charlie Hebdo.
And scene! That was whose line? Oh, the offices of Charlie Hebdo. What that old nutshell. Right, we are going to go into another game of Whose Line because we want more words. So the next game is going to involve Stefan and George, so welcome them on stage, please. Alright. You can put those in your pockets if you like, Stefan. Right, so gonna have another game of Whose Line. Let's have a relationship between these two. So what is Stefan and George? What's the relationship?
Estranged father and son.
Estranged father and son, that's a good one. Have we got any advances on estranged father and son?
Stefan fucked George's dog.
What was that? That sounded good.
Stefan fucked George's dog.
George's dog?
Stefan fucked George's dog.
I like that. I like that. So, Stefan, you have shagged. You have shagged George's dog. So, take it away.
I know what you've done, Stefan. It's a bloody mess in there.
I'm just feeling a bit empty now, you know.
I haven't been this cross since. It's lapel, not lapel.
Oh, crabs. Hope I didn't give them to your dog.
Well, she's itching like a... I don't know what in that. It's just fucking going like a maraca. I'm quite worried that Kermit...
I personally disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
You've put your todger up that side of the sphincter, right, and you think it's okay. You know what I think? I think, how, fuck me someone, you know what I think?
I didn't ask.
I think China's new spy balloon is the answer to this.
Right, Rosie, come on.
No, you're not doing it again. You're not doing it again.
But an erotic Shakespeare, I want to.
No, because last time he did an erotic Shakespeare, R. Kelly. I don't know who R. Kelly is, but I got a groan.
I wish I knew how to stop loving you.
It's very sweet.
It's you next. First the dog. Now I'm the dog.
I'm more into my stepsister.
That was Whose Line? Right, we are now going on to our next improv game of the evening. It is a game called Fortune Teller, and it is going to involve Jon and Maisie and Stefan. So welcome them on stage, please. No, leave the chairs, don't worry about it. We don't need chairs. We don't need chairs. So, this is Fortune Teller. I am going to be, basically, Jon here is a fortune teller. He's going to tell me my fortune. I'm going to ask him 3 questions. I'm going to ask him what my future job is, who I'm going to marry, and how I'm going to die. But Jon will have to try and figure out what the fortune is by consulting the spirits here. So whatever you guys give to me as a prompt, these guys are going to mime it out, and it'll be Jon's job to try and figure out what my fortune is. But for Jon to guess what my fortune is, he's going to have to leave the room. So give him a round of applause, please. Thank you very much. Oh yeah. Radio. So let's kick this off. So can I ask the audience, please? So the first question I'm going to ask him is, what is my future job going to be? So can I have a job?
Psychic.
What was that?
A psychic.
A psychic. Okay, that's a good one. Have we got any other? Say that again. Oh, that's my style.
You decide. More than happy, yeah.
We're going with prostitutes. We're going with prostitutes. Right, we are now going to go for a... Who am I going to marry in the future?
Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher, yes. Hey, big up the MILFs. Can I have any advances on Margaret Thatcher?
Amber Heard.
Amber Heard. Oh, that is good. Is there a third out there? Anyone brewing with something?
Boris Johnson.
Boris Johnson. Okay. We're going to go with Boris Johnson. There we are. That fella over there's on a roll. And we are finally going to go with how am I going to die?
Pancreatitis.
Say that again.
Pancreatitis.
Pancreatitis? How do you mind pancreatitis? That's great. Right, have we got any advances on pancreatitis?
Appendicitis.
What?
Fell in a well.
Fell down a well. Any advances on fell down a well?
Jumped in a dick.
Stop the shot in the dick. Shot in the dick. Right. We're going to go with shot in the dick. I like that one. Alright, so just to recap us all, so spirits, how am I... No, what's my future job? And what is my future... Oh, who am I going to marry?
Boris Johnson.
And how am I going to die? There we are, we've got it all covered. Now we're going to have to work together to get John back in the room. So after 3, say John back, come back in. 1, 2, 3. John! Did he hear that? Has he heard that? Or is he very far away? Right, can we do? Right, let's do that again. We'll have to do it loud. I'll have to join in this time. Sorry. Right. 1, 2, 3. John! Come back in! Has he heard it? Where is he? Oh, he's there. Oh, there he is. Wait, give a round of applause, Jon Lee! Hi, Psychic John.
Greetings.
How are you doing?
Very well, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. I was just wondering, I have a couple of questions to ask. So the first one is, I was just wondering, what's my future job going to be like?
Well, in the future you are going to work as a stripper? As a prostitute?
Oh, he's fucking got it! He's only got it! Right. And the second question, John, I want to ask is, who am I going to marry in the future?
Well, let me consult the spirits. You're going to marry a public speaker.
Which public speaker, John?
With Towson Rich Boris Johnson.
Yes! Get in there! And last question, John, and this has been weighing down on me for a while. How am I going to die?
Well, again, let me consult the stars. You're going to die by being shot in the crotch.
That's exactly right. Shot in the dick. Thank you very much. And that was fortune teller. Give me that applause. There we are. That was a swift game. Now we have one last stand-up back for you this evening. And he is an absolute Bobby Dazzler. You're going to absolutely love his stuff. Please welcome to the stage, Joe Woods!
Thank you. So, there comes a point in every comedian's life when they do a set about sex, and I'm not going to do anything about my sex life, but I'm going to put my own twist on it. So recently, a couple of months ago, I read a news article by BBC Breakfast on Twitter that read, Pope says nuns watch porn. Now the fact that BBC Breakfast is the one that briefed me with that news article. Like, I know they're like a feel-good news show, but not that kind of feel-good. And then it got me thinking, what type of porn do nuns like to watch? Because like Pornhub occasionally do these like region maps of the different parts of the country where they have the top category. So like, for example, the Northwest is British, which honestly is not that surprising because we get absolutely fucked by the British government sometimes. And then also the South is BBC, which is the British Broadcasting Corporation. They need to pay off the TV licenses somehow. Now, if the typical pornography categories that you think of, it would be something not normal like religious porn, or maybe milk porn. Instead of Mother Teresa, it's Mummy Teresa. But then also you've got to think, pornography is usually used as a way to escape reality, and nuns are married to God, so they want to escape that reality. So there might be a porn about Satan or something like that. But then, if we got to think, let's say, if religion says that masturbation is a sin, and nuns are virtuous enough to not masturbate, then what is the whole point of them watching the pornography for? Like, the whole point is to masturbate. It's nothing else. They don't watch it for the story. But let's say they do, then the whole phrase tighter than a nun's fanny is completely untrue. And I got a bone to pick with God as well, because on one hand, he says that polygamy is a sin, but on the other hand, he's married to 1,000 nuns. And then there's also the very common phrase, humanity are God's children. Now, nuns are humanity, and I'm going to let you connect the dots, but you've got to think about it. The Catholic Church is not, they're used to this sort of thing. They know what it is. But yeah, and now, the next thing I want to talk about is the earliest known pregnancy test. Now, like in ancient Egyptian times, they used to have like wheat seeds and barley seeds, and if you planted the wheat and it grows, it becomes a girl. If you plant the barley, it's a boy. Now, the way that they do this is that they plant it, and then they get the pregnant woman to just sit over it and just wee on it. Now, this is the one stage in my, this is something I feel like if it was modern times, any 20-year-old ancient Egyptian farmer, the one time they don't want their crops to be grown, because the woman would just come up and say, honey, the barley grew, the boys, shit! Now, there is one thing that is better than sex, and I'm going to ask you what you think it is. What do you think it is?
God. Food.
No, it's roller coaster. Come on, it's obvious. No, so this is actually a real fact, is that the inventor of roller coasters invented roller coasters as a way to stop people from going to taverns and brothels. Now, I can just imagine the board meeting of all the investors coming in, like saying, Mr. Thompson, why are you dragging us out of a brothel at 3 a.m? What's so important? Like, listen guys, I've got the next best thing to sex. It's better than what you just had. Oh, robot sex dog? No, that will never be a thing. It is the roller coaster. Now keep in mind that the roller coaster at this time went 6 miles an hour. 6 miles an hour. So imagine, it's like they thought you'd get an orgasm from just going on a 6 mile an hour roller coaster. No. So then to carry on the conversation, you say, why, Mr. Thompson, do you think that we need the roller coaster? And the reason, gentlemen, the reason why is because people are having too much sex, even the nuns are watching. Thank you.
Well done, everybody! Stuff. And now we have reached the point of the evening where we have reached our last improv game. Oh, I know it's tragic. So we've got one last improv game for you. It is called Timelord. So it is a long-form, free-form improv game. What's going to happen is you, the audience, are going to offer a word. That word will prompt all our improvisers who have performed this evening to come up and perform a scene. And then what's going to happen is throughout this scene, I will be at the side dictating when in time the scene can move. So for example, if someone says, oh, do you remember when we ate that ice cream? I can go flashback to when they ate that ice cream. And then a whole new scene will start up, and we're just going to try and form a lovely little narrative. And it's going to be nice. So, to kick us off, can we please have a word?
Fishing.
Fishing. Fishing, we're going with fishing. So the word is fishing, so improvisers, take it away.
Roll up. Creative carp for you here. What do you say?
Which one's made the best fish fingers?
The silver ones. Caught them this morning.
Stinks like a dodgy fanny. I don't think that's fresh.
Oh no, they're all like this.
All of them?
Yeah. They must have come from a particularly sexually sentient part of the ocean.
Flashback to John fishing for the carp.
Gosh, this part of the water does certainly smell like female genitalia.
Back to the present.
Oh, it's like Blackpool Tinder.
Well now, sir.
Yeah.
Well now, sir, we are in Blackpool. So, well, what do you say? Come on, they're not that bad.
How much is it?
£5 per kilo.
£5?
Very cheap.
Something fishy, I guess, is quite cheap.
You can make some cracking fish fingers out of these. Really good.
Yeah, I'll take 2.
Flash forward to George making fish fingers.
That smells awful, what are you doing?
Well, I know. It's not as bad as the ex-girlfriend, but it's not good, is it?
What are you trying to make?
Fish fingers.
I thought we weren't talking about the ex-girlfriend anymore.
I know. The trick is to use lemon juice to wash your hands. Works with garlic as well. But yeah, Captain Birdseye's coming around later, so I thought I'd put a bit of effort in.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm not sure that's the way to entice them. Don't say oysters. Oysters is the romantic meal we should be making for everyone.
Oh, they made me gag.
Why don't you do like a non-fish food?
I've bought the fucking fish now.
It's what they expect. They expect fish to do something different.
What do you think you'd like then? Ooh, chow mein.
Yeah, that's nice. Interesting.
Don't know how the fuck you make a chow mein, but...
No.
I know it's another 49, but that's as far as I can get.
How about proper meat, chicken?
Chicken's not proper meat.
It's more meat than that.
Horse. Go with horse.
Yeah, strong. European.
Do you want these fish then? Because they're just going to go to...
Flash forward to George going to get some horse.
Roll up! Horse!
How many Grand Nationals is this one, man?
Only 2.
Yeah. Who's the trainer?
One of the ones, you know, the fancy one.
Oh, the fat one, I didn't know the fancy one.
Yeah.
I'll take 2.
Yep, 2 horses.
Cheers.
Flash forward back to the kitchen making the chow mein.
I've got 2 horses.
Oh, I love lasagna.
I so do I, so we decided on the chow mein, so if you wouldn't mind killing them, because I don't know
You got a knife?
Yeah, it's a butter knife, but just really hack it, you know, make
How do
do.
I feel about this one?
Flash forward to the garage killing the horses.
Like, fuck it. Right. Oh, fuck, it's the RSPCA.
Look, the horse consented.
They were dead when we bought them.
No, I am the new king of the RSPCA, and I say horses are now classed as birds, so we don't. So they're not allowed to be.
I've heard that.
Oh,
If they're not claimed in 3 days, just ring their necks.
Oh, fucking badgers.
Easily, I love badgers.
I fucking don't.
Badgers are amazing.
What do they do? How do badgers help the world?
Well, for example, one of them lives with me as my closest companion.
Flashback to Stefan's house and his badger companion.
Hello. Oh, look at you. Listen, I knew you'd be better than a wife.
Back to the garage.
We're getting away from the issues at hand. We've got 2 horses.
And we need our chow mein.
His girlfriend's coming over later.
I bought the bean sprouts and everything.
Well, how about have a vegan chow mein? That's what
We've got the horses.
But if you want to be, they're already dead.
We could resurrect them. It's like Narnia.
Flash forward to resurrecting the horses.
Nice to sell a good thing. The horses resurrect.
Oh my god, it stood up! That is phenomenal.
It's just muscle
I thought they
spasms.
weren't meant to be miracles a lot of times.
Right,
Amazing.
come on, clockworks. Let's get away from these bugs.
Where's the sport those? You can't just take them.
Yeah, well, life is more important than transactions.
Do you know what, George? This is sort of, you should always buy Linda McCartney instead of Captain Birdseye.
Linda McCartney, yeah, I do like her songs.
So what are you going to do about your day? What are you going to do about your day? She's rounded off an hour. We want the best for you. What are you thinking?
I don't know, I've got some vino in, some Doritos and dips.
Yeah, Doritos are not made
I bought some San Pellegrino. I know it's the thought that counts, but it's a £9.50 thought.
Oh, there you go.
It's I, Linda McCartney.
It's your husband, look.
Oh, what a sexy man, so much better than John.
You look different on your Tinder.
Well, you know,
Blackboard, isn't it?
it is
And scene! And that was Timelord and the end of our comedy evening. So that was that. Thank you very much. You've been a very great crowd to perform to this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've got a couple of stuff to say. So, in week 10, it is Thursday, March 23rd, 7:45 p.m. We have a show in the Dukes. We are doing a show very similar to this, where we have a mix of improv and stand-up. We do have 3 circuit comedians coming to perform with us as well. So these are like, you know, we just do this as a society, but there are people coming off the circuit who are professional comedians. They will come to perform with us as well. So it's happening in the Dukes, 23rd of March, £10 a ticket, which is in line with club pricing. It'll be at the Dukes. Tickets are currently available on the Dukes website, so if you guys are interested in coming along to that and watching us perform alongside some proper comics, then you are welcome to that, and it's worth checking that out. Just another plug as well, if you've enjoyed what you saw today and would like to get involved, we do have meetings thrice a week on Mondays and Wednesdays. It is 6 till 8 in Bowler North Seminar Room 7, where we do stand-up and a bit of improv, and then every Friday 6 till 8 in Bowler North Seminar Room 20. We just have a lot of fun, a lot of improv games, very chilled out, very cool. So if you're interested in that, then do check us out. We are on Instagram, on Facebook at LUCI Comedy. And I think that's everything that needs to be said. So again, thank you very much for coming along. Thank you very much for watching us. You've been a wonderful crowd to perform to, and have a safe journey home. Thank you very much.